Hello guys, what's up? Today we're going to be watching reacting to some horror stories from Lamarts. So, yeah, and make sure you guys subscribe to him as well. It would be appreciated because they actually do really good videos as well. So, yeah. So, first one we're going to watch is the disturbing. Yeah, this one. I'll watch this one. Disturbing. Social media guys.
This is a short but terrifying story of something that happened when I was Snapchatting a friend. I'm pretty young, I'm only 13, still in middle school. A girl I really liked had just recently started snapping me selfie pictures, and we started messaging each other for a few nights. One night when I was watching TV, she sent me a snap of herself laying in her bed without a caption. I sent a message saying what's up. She sent another identical picture, this time with a caption saying, "Not much, you?" She set the timer to 10 seconds, so it gave me plenty of time to analyze the picture, including her bedroom in the background, and the dark outline of a person standing by her window.
Wait, what?
I quickly sent a response message, saying, "Is that your brother by the window?" She sent another identical snap, this time captioned, "What do you mean?" In this picture, the figure at the window was closer, and I could see a hand pressed up against the glass. I closed the snap before the timer even ran out so I could tell her quicker. I said, "There's somebody at your window, turn around." She opened my snap almost immediately, and then I didn't hear from her again on the app. I grew more and more worried as the minutes passed. I texted her a few times to no avail. I tried calling her a few times to no avail as well. I didn't know her house phone number, otherwise I would have called her parents. It wasn't until midnight when I was already laying in bed that she finally texted me back. She explained the whole situation. As soon as she looked at her window and saw the person standing there, she screamed, and that caused the person, who turned out to be a 20-something-year-old man, to open the window and jump into the room. From there, she ran to her parents' room and woke her dad, who went to her room to find nothing but an open window. It wasn't exactly a personal story of mine, but it freaks me out nonetheless, knowing that the only thing that saved my friend from whatever could have happened was the fact that I was able to see the window through her selfies, unbeknownst to the creeper at her window.
That's the thing about Snapchat? Not really, but... Wait, is that another one? Oh, that's it. Okay. So the next one we're reacting to is... Well, I can't really do Christmas. No, it's not. Bus Stop Horror Story. Let's go for this one, guys. Oh, keep putting it. No.
This happened when I was 17 years old. I would go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and ride the bus home. It was a Sunday and I had just missed my bus, so I had to wait longer for another one. I would have called my parents, but they were out for the evening, and taxis charged more, so I decided to sit and wait in the bus shelter. It was a cold night and snow had just started peppering the ground. My bus was taking longer than usual, so I got my phone out and listened to some music. Almost an hour had passed. It was freezing and I hadn't seen anyone at all. That was until I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. It was a creepy guy dressed in thick layers of clothing, walking slowly towards me. I knew staring at him would draw more attention, so I just focused on my phone. He sat down at the other end of the shelter and just stared at me. There was something off about him. He seemed like he was either drunk or on drugs. He then asked,
"What does the bus do?"
I took out my earphones and said, "I think it's delayed, because of the snow." He stared at me for a while, then started mumbling to himself. He was really starting to creep me out, so I pretended to be on my phone. After a couple of minutes, I took another look. He'd moved closer to me.
Oh my god.
I looked away for a second, then heard the sound of him sliding even closer.
Oh my god.
I turned to him and said, "You okay there?" He stared at me with glossy eyes, lifted his arm and leaned towards me. Immediately, I grabbed my bag and ran as he fell to the ground. I ran down the road trying my hardest not to look back. I kept going until I got to the next bus stop. I turned around to check to see if he was there. He was gone, so I went to sit down. Feeling relieved, I rested my head on the back of the glass and waited for the bus.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I jolted and turned around to see the same guy staring at me through the glass.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Then he started walking around the shelter towards me.
I'm warning you, stay back.
I yelled in panic as I was backing up. I wanted to run, but I left my bag in the shelter and I couldn't leave without it. Suddenly, the man leaped at me and I quickly moved out of the way. He fell to the ground face first. I froze in shock, then noticed the blood coming from his face. I tried to get a response out of him, but nothing worked. I called the police and paramedics and they arrived shortly after. I told them what had happened and they told me that the guy was on prescription drugs. They found a photo in his wallet of him and his son. The boy looked just like me, so we assumed he thought I was him. I later learned that he had lost his son in a custody battle and went off the rails. He was taken away for treatment. That was the last I saw of him. I got my driver's license shortly after, and have never been on a bus since.
Oh, wait, I just saw him, man. You go back on the video and see if you notice him. Hey, nice. Okay, I'm gonna go for one more maybe. So we'll do a creepy ghost hunting. We'll do that one. No, a keep game, man. Yep, let's do it.
This happened about 5 years ago when I was 21. Me and my friend Seth got into this app which showed you ghosts. We'd go out ghost hunting, but nothing much would happen. Sometimes a dot would appear on one of our phones and it would say random words. We would ask, "How did you die?"
What's the point? What are
Stuff
you
like
trying
that.
to prove?
And sometimes the answers lined up, but it was mostly random. One night, around 2 a.m., Seth suggested going to the cemetery to see if the app
What?
picked anything up. I was
Okay,
hesitant,
I don't
but
want to,
I
man.
nervously agreed.
What the hell?
We started making our way through the neighborhood towards the cemetery. It was weird as the streets are normally lined with cars, but they were empty on this night. We walked down the middle of the road with the app running, but it wasn't picking anything up. We
Okay.
finally made it to the cemetery, which was a small, family-owned one where they only buried their own. Seth went up to the gate and started shouting, hoping to get a response
What?
in the
Okay.
app, but
Why disrespect this, man? Like, what they done to you, man? Like, what is the point in using this app, man? You know, one of them's gonna die, or maybe both.
I was standing in the road, feeling unsettled when Seth
Yeah, you're
started
doing a good
yelling.
job, mate. Not
Is that all
like
you've
with this
got?
guy.
I told him to stop disrespecting the
Yeah,
dead
you
and we
tell
should
him
leave.
that.
He tried being funny, saying,
Oh, I'll make them show up.
I'll make him
Jump-
show up. Oh my god. Oh, you make
the gate
Okay.
started stomping on the graves while screaming.
Come on,
Man, that's
show
just
us
horrible.
something.
All of a sudden, our phone said something at the same time.
So
I
what
looked down
happens
at my
if you
phone and it was
disrespect the
there.
date, bro?
We
Afraid.
both
Oh
just stood
my
there,
God.
looking at each other when 10 or so red dots appeared on the radar,
Oh.
and it said it again. When I looked
Oh
back
my
up from
God,
my
you're
phone,
dead.
Seth was
dead.
next to me.
Nope.
I said,
We have got to go.
as soon as I said that, we could hear the street lights turning off
Oh my
one
God.
by one from the top of the street, getting closer to us. We took off running as fast as
Yep.
we could.
Good,
We got
good,
about
yeah.
halfway into the neighborhood before running out of breath and having to stop. I felt like I was gonna throw up from being scared and winded. Then I heard my phone say something. It was muffled, but I knew what it said. Being too scared to look at my phone, I looked at Seth, who looked terrified. He nodded at me to get my phone out, so I slowly pulled it out, and it said my name across the top.
Oh
I turned
my.
my phone off and said,
Screw this. I'm done.
we made our way back to my house and had a cigarette to calm down.
A cigarette.
We were talking about what just happened, almost not believing it, when I heard my phone again. This time it was my sister's name. We
What?
just stood there, frozen,
No way,
not
this
saying
is-
a word.
Oh,
when it
no.
went off again and said my brother's name. I took my phone out, turned it on, and deleted the app. I asked Seth
No.
to stay the night, but he refused. I can't blame him.
He refused. That's a horrible friend. Yeah, that's totally a nice friend. Totally a nice friend.
When I finally got to sleep that night, I dreamt a muffled voice repeating a word over and over. I started to wake up and the words became clearer.
Not, you know?
My phone was off, with the battery out.
Okay.
But when I turned it over, it was lit up with the app running. It had a red dot about 6 feet from me, still repeating.
Oh.
I woke up the
Okay.
next morning and went to the bathroom. I had a razor-thin cut from my left shoulder to my right hip. I don't know what happened that night, and nothing has happened to me since. Needless to say, I don't mess with that kind of stuff
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. That guy's totally right. Okay. Here's my advice. Don't go on that stuff, man. It's just not worth it, man. Like, it's not making you cool. It's not doing nothing, really. I'm gonna have to end the video here, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy and smack the like button. See you guys in the next video. Peace.